Yo, I'm gonna ride with Unc to work. Well, actually to church. And damn, I got ants in my car now. Them damn small sugar ants all in my shit. Damn it. Is what it is. I gotta clean this car out. But anyway, let's talk. Oh, it's been a while. Last time we talked, I believe we talked about Hulk Hogan. It's been a couple of weeks. I've had time to sit on it and think about it. And if you follow me on Facebook or TikTok, I think you got my my thoughts on it. And I don't think that's gonna change. I feel what I feel about Hulk, and I don't feel the need to process any more about my feelings with that. I think I'm done with that. But I wanted to talk to y'all because every now and again I have to reflect and refresh. And I took this time to reflect on myself and what I don't like and what I want to improve upon, because we're more than halfway through the year. I am a little less, well, no, ain't no little. I'm 4 days away from my birthday. And I'll be turning 38. And I'm thankful to be reaching that age. And I start thinking towards 39 and 40 and where I want to be. You know, I like to plan ahead. So, to those of you that don't know, every year for the past 4 years, I host this event called the Kickback. It was designed initially to get my 2020 crew together and get us to sit down and be able to record, because during the pandemic we were able to record all the time, no problem. We could get together, knock out a couple episodes, get them up, and then do our thing. But as real life started to, come back together and the pandemic ended, we weren't able to do that so much anymore. Time passes, people grow, people part, people move, life happened. So I said, I remember back in the day we used to do family reunions. So what if we did like a friends and family reunion, right? So the Kickback was born. The very first Kickback was phenomenal. Everybody was there. Me, Black, Casey, K. Marie, Raina, Ebony, Buck. We were all there, including the South. From the South, got something to say. Craig was there. Country, was there. Man, we had some outsiders. We had the safe word there. It was a good old time. It was initially nerve-wracking, but we managed to pull through and had some amazing conversations, and the time was had. Year 2, bam, did it again. Knocked it out. It was great. Phenomenal. Round table was great. Year 3, boom, did it again. Great, phenomenal. Only thing that was different for year 2 and year 3, we were dealing with the losses of Raina and Delonte. So, it felt away because their passings were like right before the Kickbacks, right? Raina's passing was right before the second Kickback. Delonte's passing was right before last year's Kickback. So it's like a thing, but it's beautiful that we're still able to come together and remember them, Anywho, this year it's going to be the same thing. We're going to do it again and be grateful. And I'll be honest with you, every year I've done it, I've run Ashley into the ground. Really. And I'm able to recognize that. I don't mean like fetching things, doing things. I mean beyond that, because I would deal with this anxiety of trying to make it perfect and trying to get everything everybody wanted and everything that, would make this expand to be successful. And I'm thinking, well, if I get this online, more people will see it. And if it's live, they can participate and they can listen, and we'll get 1,000 listeners. And if we get 1,000, we can get 2,000, we get 2,000, we can get 10,000, we can get paid. My goal was always to get paid, right? And then when we wasn't getting any money, my motivation waned. My anxiety went up, right? And I've been carrying that depression about this podcast for years. One day, this past week, I picked back up a book my therapist recommended to me. It's called Battle Cry. It's by Jason Wilson. He's a martial artist I think he's from Detroit. And I'm gonna try to reach out to him to interview him, man, because he's phenomenal. You may have seen him on TikTok, and you hear that rattling. That's a pan in my trunk. I'm headed to church, which I'll also loop back around to and discuss. But one of the things that he discussed was discipline, right? And you look on TikTok, you listen to these content creators, and they tell you, blah, 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 blah. You got to post 1,000,000 times around these times. You got to do 30-second videos. You got to have AI in order to go viral. Woo, 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 woo. And I got to thinking, do I want to be viral? Or do I want to be consistent? Right? So that's step one of the thought process, right? Because this book that this man wrote, he's giving real life example of himself dealing with anger, himself dealing with anxiousness, himself seeking affirmations and validation from men. It's so real, right? And I got to thinking, why not do that chain thinking for myself? Why not do the battle within myself first? So I got to thinking, why is it that I want to go viral? It's because I want money, right? And that's not the purpose of my podcast. My podcast tagline was extraordinary conversations from ordinary people, right? Nowhere in there does it say go viral. Nowhere in there does it say be for profit, you know? Nowhere in there does it say famous. I did not ask God for that. That's not my mission. So once I realized what my intentions were, once I realized what I was actually seeking, I realized that, like Cole say, the good news is, nigga, you came a long way. The bad news is, nigga, you went the wrong way. I think being broke was better. That applies to me so much because I was looking at everybody else's path and wanting what they got along with the path. I didn't want their path. I wanted what they were getting, the benefits of their path, which is envy, right? And I started analyzing further. I dug deeper into the book, and it talked about how when people aren't getting what they feel they needed, they develop a resentment or anger. And that was myself, because I was constantly comparing. Some of the people I was comparing with, I'm no longer even associated with anymore. So why am I carrying that emotion, that anger, right? It's because there was something deeper. I lost my sense of purpose in what I was doing. I lost the motivation. I didn't have a clear-cut directive, right? And when you're wandering, what does that mean? When you're out and about and you can't find your way, that means you're lost, right? So how do you counteract being lost? Sometimes you go back the ways that you came from. You literally turn back and start following the path that you remember and seeing where you went wrong, right? So that's what I started doing. One of the things that I came to terms with is that I have no discipline. Not literally no discipline. I just don't have enough discipline, right? I want all these things, but I'm not disciplined enough to see my own path through. Why is that? Because I'm not focused. There it is. What am I focused on? I'm focused on the things that don't matter, right? So let's apply it real time. When you focus on things that don't matter, the end goal is kind of hard to keep hold of, right? That's how people drop out of school. That's how people fail tests. They lose focus at the most pivotal time, right? Imagine you're studying and you got the TV on, but you're more watching TV than focusing on studying. You see what I'm saying? So what I start to do is, all right, I need to strengthen my discipline. So what I do I start with something small. Start with a small weight. Right? When you're working out, trying to build strength and get big, they don't tell you go for the biggest weight and work that out. No, you can hurt yourself. You get super sore and you stop because it's a bad association. But what if you start small? Right? What if you start small? I started with something small. I said, hey, I'm going to build up my discipline by making sure every Monday I go to the gym and that I don't bite my nails. I know that sounds insane. Like, how is this going to help you be more consistent? Well, if I fail and bite a nail, right, I still have 9 other ones, right? When I look and I see that I've bitten 1 nail out of 10, that's 90%. That's 90% effectiveness. You see what I'm saying? If I can go Monday to the gym and I do it, that's 100%. But let's say if I had said I'm gonna go every day to the gym and I miss 3 days of that, right? That means only 40%. My brain is like, oh, you failed. So what I need to do is set those smaller goals and focus on those smaller goals to get where I'm going, right? This is where church comes in. My mom has been pleading for me to come to church ever since I came back, and I would just refuse to go. And that was because of past trauma. Some experiences I wasn't dealing with yet. And I remember my therapist saying, hey, I know what you mean. That can be a palace of trauma. But you shouldn't throw the baby with the bathwater. You need to get what you can get and you can go. You ain't even got to associate with nobody. You ain't even got to sit in the front. You can sit in the back. Get the bits you need and go. And my mom agreed, right? So I said, you know what? F it, I'm going to go. I went. And I got a really good message that day. You know what? Let me go next week and see what they're talking about. Got a really good message that next week. 3rd week, I couldn't go. All right? I had something that popped up. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think I know why that happened. The universe is very interesting, right? When you're trying to make a change, things move. I'm not going to blame it on you know what. I'm not on you know who or who you may think. But I will say this. When you move differently in the water, the waves are felt all the way on the other end, right? Those ripples move. And sometimes, like if you're in a pool, you may notice when you make a splash, it may hit a wall. That wall may reverberate those waves back. And that's simply what's going on. As I was making a change, the universe and positives and negatives were reverberating back. But no problem. I corrected it with the full intent of coming this week, and while intending to come this week, those waves moved. Boom, another obstacle tried to reverberate back. This obstacle said, hey, I need you to come to work on Sunday. I said, okay. I can do Sunday because Saturday was my day, right? Saturday is my day to recharge my battery and do what I want. Sunday, I can come and do some work. But the stipulation I have, and I told this to the person, is that I'm going to go to church first. They looked. Okay, that's fine. You do that. Now, I didn't go into that mindset of, there's always some. No, I came into this mindset of, this is where I stand. This is my boundary. You can either accept it or not. But I'm making it known what my boundary is. Because my discipline comes first. You feel me? Like what I want comes first. I made a decision to make time for this. I could have caved. Right? I chose not to. Anyway, moving next. I'm dealing with reprogramming myself. I am removing the things from social media that I don't want to see, that I feel aren't conducive to me. If it's messy, violent and stuff, I block you. I block it. If it's overtly sexual and just not what I'm looking to see at the moment, I block it. I block you. Like anything that I don't want to see or deal with, I'm gonna block it. It's not necessarily anything against you. You know, it's not anything against what you believe. It's not that I am against sexuality. I think that's important. But for the path that I'm on, I need to focus. And I know those things prevent me from focusing. So I'm doing that. I'm heavy on the F word. F and D. I'm on heavy. No pause. I don't need to say pause. Too grown. Too grown for pause. But that's what I'm on. I'm exercising this muscle of discipline and focus. And it feels great. Heading into 38. Proud, happy. I'm not so much focused on doing too much spiritually either. I'm not gonna jump in and be like, super holiness. I ain't doing nothing unholy, nigga. I'm finna. As soon as I'm done playing recording, I'm about to turn on Kendrick because it feels like a Kendrick and Cole day to me. Because I need to keep my spirit safe and mellow. That was a big snake in the room. But yes, that's my purpose today, bro. I'm gonna do what I can do, none less, none more, man. And I think that we've gotten so far from what that means that people take that as slacking. No, you're not overexerting yourself in any capacity. I'm big on believing mind, body, and spirit. Don't overexert your mind by overthinking and stressing. Don't overexert your body when you're trying to do what you physically can when working out or, health-wise. And don't overly exert your spirit, man. Don't overexpose yourself to people just because they need a listening ear, man. Don't involve yourself spiritually with stuff that don't align with you. If you firmly don't believe something and it's morally not what you believe, you ain't got to condemn the person or be hateful, right? You can just separate yourself, and that's perfectly fine and respectable. I think that's that feeling of everybody has to say something in regards to somebody's opinion. I think that era is dead, man. I think it's safe to let that go and move on to something else more conducive to society of just being quiet, you know. I think being quiet is totally legitimate. But that's just me. I'm about to go to church. I'm about to listen to some Cole and Ken. I'll get up with y'all next time. I love you. Stay safe. Be watchful. And remember, you are that lady and you are that dude. Y'all be great.